Thanks a lot for joining us again on TVC Breakfast. Well, trado medicine has long been a cornerstone of healthcare, especially in rural communities. Its growing popularity demands a closer look, though, at the safety regulations. While it offers cultural significance, accessibility, and potential therapeutic benefits, concerns linger about how standard they are, as well as issues of quality control, adverse interactions with modern medicine, and lack of scientific evidence. And here with us in the studio to explore the role of trado medicine in modern healthcare, herbal nutritionist Oladeinde Ariyo. Nutritionist Oladeinde Ariyo.
You called me Babalawo before you came on here.
Good morning. Welcome.
I'm nice to be back.
Right, it's good to see you again.
Thank you.
Right, so the issue of, yes, we've always been living with the presence of herbs. For many households, it's their go-to before they even want to explore the science or the hospital, so to speak. But the concerns linger. If you ask those people, how sure are you about the efficacy of what you're using in terms of control, the quantity, and all of that?
I maybe do it.
Right. There is still that big question mark.
Thank you very much. Seated here is a beneficiary of herbal medicine. So my interest in herbal medicine didn't start yesterday. It started from birth. I wasn't born in a conventional hospital. I was born in a Babalawo's shrine, if you must know. It's my story, and I'm proud of it. The first time I had contact with Western medicine was in primary school when we were being vaccinated. You understand? So from my ages 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, I didn't have any contact with Western medicine. And at 64, going 65, I'm not doing badly physically. And of course, if I'm not well within, I won't be seated here and looking this good. That said, the problem has been the fact that when colonization came, when the white people came here, they tried to destroy virtually everything that our ancestors were surviving with. Don't tell me that they didn't have their cure for malaria, that they didn't have their cure for headache, or they didn't have their ways of pregnant women delivering. But they condemned all of these things in single sweep, calling them evil. And that stigma is still very much here. If you recall, during COVID-19, I was in this studio, and I said that the vaccines that they were giving people will have consequences. Why? 40 years and more since we've had HIV/AIDS. There's no vaccine for HIV/AIDS approved globally. They are still conducting researches into the way forward. The same thing with cancer. How come within a few weeks they came out and said the vaccines that will manage COVID is available? From taking the first dose, they took the second dose, and then they took another one, and on and on.
So you didn't take it? You didn't take the COVID?
I said it here. And I told people listening to me that don't take my word for it. If you don't believe it, don't do it. But I didn't take it. Funny enough, my daughter and I, we were playing games with ourselves. He said, "Daddy, what if we die?" I said, "Well, we will go to heaven." But here I am, and my girl is in school. Okay? But away from that, the federal government, governments in Africa that suffered colonization, that suffered the desecration of their knowledge base, they have still not recovered to now know that, oh, we can't continue this way. Apart from studying herbal medicine here, I studied herbal nutrition outside Nigeria. And today, if you have any issue around yourself and you have some measure of knowledge, maybe idea, you can go to Google and it will tell you solutions. These were facts and figures collected from Africa, now posted online. Again, because we still want to undermine and undercast herbal medicine, or what they call alternative medicine. And I ask, alternative to what? Right, alternative to what? So, so to that extent,
but why do you question that, appellation?
Because the white people deliberately made their practice the real deal, and it's not. Let me shock you. Today, if 100 Nigerians should go to America, UK, Canada, wherever to go and work, 90% of them will be working as caregivers. You want to know why? the adverse effects of Western medicine on the aged in those places has rendered them vegetative, that they can no longer manage themselves. So they need more people to care for them. These are things they will not tell you. But if you are someone like me, that because I'm in that industry, I make inquiries, I find out things, and that's the reality. 10, 15 years ago, the word caregiver was very rarely used, but today it's very common. Okay, so that's where you begin to know that they are even now tending towards herbal medicine. Just yesterday, if I'm allowed to say this, I still sent herbal solutions treating prostate enlargement, fibroid, and what do you call this one now?
Diabetes?
No, diabetes. Ulcer. To Canada and the US just yesterday. They're not going to be taken by animals, but by human beings. And of course, they pay dearly for it. So to that extent, the consciousness is coming up. Only that the government refused, or is still refusing, to pay attention to herbal medicine. And it's a correlation between the attitude of the whites trying to put us down, and our own people also making every effort to make sure we don't flourish. You saw the disaster during COVID that happened abroad, whereas the simple things they needed will not cost more than, as at that time, more than 2,000 naira for a family of 5.
For COVID?
Yes. My daughter and I, we prepared it and we were drinking it. Nothing happened to us. Nothing happened.
I think the major concern that most persons may have, like Kemi mentioned, is the measurement. And to an extent in this part of the world is there is really no regulation. You mentioned Google. So many persons who go on Google, type in their symptoms, and some persons will see a lot.
I understand.
That is not related to what they they should be diagnosed for.
Government is interested in oil and gas. They have regulatory agencies. Government is interested in aviation. They have regulatory agencies. In cement production, they have. In pharmaceuticals, because they are interested, they have. What stops the government from establishing agencies that will manage this, declare the standards? Let me tell you, NAFDAC is doing its own, but it's not enough. I submitted 12 samples from my herbal home to NAFDAC. They could only have their standards working on 2. The remaining 10 were treated differently. Why? Because they were not deeply into it. Everywhere you go, there's something they call fenuja, this ogogoro drink in a sachet. Go and see them. They all have NAFDAC numbers given by NAFDAC. Whereas ordinarily, this should not have been so.
Even those have been banned.
Banned, but they're in the market. Come on, when you say they are banned, how effective is the ban? That's what I'm saying. Government, is, as far as this industry is concerned, government is majoring in the minor and minoring in the major until they call stakeholders and say, let's sit down. What do you know? Certification. Okay. Think of people who have gone abroad and studied about medicine and all of that, and they are doing well. But government refused to pay. In fact, we are not paying good tax anyway, if I must tell you. We are not recognized, so to say.
Right.
But a lot of people rely on us for their well-being.
Don't you think this is something that should actually be privatized and really not waiting for the government for that?
Regulate.
I'm saying that
I think there should still be the place of government.
Well, for regulation and not, production and all that, because perhaps we should also be looking at it, introducing some things like this in schools and not just, waiting for the federal government. If we always have to mention the federal government in every situation, we may not actually move forward.
Yeah, because it is the federal government that has the constitutional power and authority to establish regional agencies. Lagos State couldn't have established NAFDAC. No matter, whereas Lagos has a school for traditional medicine in VI, and they've done so well. They've trained a lot of people.
You see, you're saying it's subject to NAFDAC now?
Yes, of course. But the reality, again, there's another institute in Yaba. I've had to submit a sample to them. And apart from that, what we pay to their laboratories is humongous. It costs a lot. Yes, it's too expensive. We must be encouraged. In fact, if they had said, okay, bring your sample free of that, you will bring. My knowledge made me to know that in my place, we don't prepare herbs with roots and barks of trees. Why? The fruit is the oldest part of the plant. And it might have turned toxic over the years. So I would not want to feed my clients with toxic materials. the back of the tree is the second oldest part of the tree. Again, due to age, growing, it might have also turned toxic. These are basic things that people need to, to
So you work with what instead now? You said
we work with leaves and fruits.
Okay, not
that's
the
why
bark.
I call it
Okay.
nutritionist. That's why I didn't read herbal medicine. I studied herbal nutrition.
Okay.
We use food. I mean, your food becomes your medicine. Instead of medicine, your food. You see people carrying bags around containing hypertension drugs, blood for diabetes. And you don't need to. No. I mean, there are little things. And the beautiful thing is God in His mercy has blessed Africa. Things like ewedu, bure, water leaf. If you know the healing virtues that they contain, you will be amazed. Bure in its form as it is will manage cancer. And if it's well taken, will cure cancer. But they will tell you no.
In advanced stages?
Yes. I mean, as it is. Now, people now plant shower salt plants in their homes, having realized that the leaves, the fruit can also help to treat cancerous situations and then inflammation and so many other diseases. Ordinary garden egg, the green garden egg, it does a lot. But where are the platforms whereby these things can be taught and then regulations put in place, rules that will be guiding practitioners? Okay, what do we have now? So many fake people parading themselves. Why? Because some will have inherited their grandfather's book, and then they carry it around and tell you that he inherited it. I didn't inherit anything. Whatever I'm telling you, I learned it. Okay. And I paid to learn those things.
So, you said earlier on that you also had to travel during the course of your practice. So far, you've had to travel. I want to believe, or you can clarify if it is to compare notes with practice of trado medicine here and abroad.
Let me tell you, China and India are the best examples I will give anybody who is interested. On the streets of India, there is no fruit that you are looking for in the world that they don't have. You probably won't know, but those of us who are familiar with those things, we easily pick them and we eat them. Go to Japan, you see them aging gracefully, okay, without crashing and living longer. What is the secret? It's not Western medicine, it is their traditional medicine. The same thing, and there are a lot of things we all have in common. Garlic is garlic anywhere in the world. Ginger is ginger. Turmeric is turmeric. So what do we need to know? What can these things do? Okay, can there be excess consumption? And then you build all those defenses around the practitioners. And I assure you, we will spend less on our healthcare. Nigeria should have at least one herbal hospital in each capital of the states. And let's see how it goes. Let's experiment and let's see how it goes. But aside from that, there are those who do composite medicine, acupuncture and all of that. They also treat people and they get well. Why are we ignoring them? Why are we not paying them attention? Is anybody losing anything from doing that? No.
Well, this will, also, go back to, public awareness, enlightenment about the use of herbal medicine. I mean, if we were to have a herbal hospital, how many persons would actually want to walk in because of their perception about what it is? So what I also want to know is, what's the success rate like, especially for, treatment, total, healing of persons with diseases that you mentioned earlier? And if we can rely on the traditional medicine for treatment, what's the extent in terms of diagnosis?
I'll tell you very straight away. As I'm sitting here, stuff like high blood pressure, diabetes, prostate challenges, fibroid, ulcer, and all of that, they are children's play for all I care. We handle them, and when we tell you you will be healed, you will be healed. Ours is to prepare the preparation and give it to you. Those who believe in us, they patronize us. Okay, it's not my side hustle, it's my mainstay now, if you must know. Now, when you talk of people not having confidence, they do. A lot of people that I've attended to, they've had experiences in several hospitals. They've spent millions of naira. They still don't get. A lot of them are listening to me. We did not. Your people sent me a poster, a sticker yesterday, and I sent it to them that listen to me. If only if I'm allowed to call them and say, yeah, speak for me, perhaps it would have been different. People have testimonies. I mean, it's not like we are talking of people that don't exist. If I'm asked to, I can give you phone numbers and their names. They will not lie against themselves. They paid and they were treated and they are healed. And a lot more are still benefiting. But like I said, regulation is the critical thing. Let government now say, okay, for once, ask us to register, provide certifications or training that you have.
But isn't that on ground already?
You see, it's not as it should be.
Okay.
You understand? I met this man, Jeremiah Balaka, in Oladeinde a few years back when they said they had cancer solution. And the man convinced me. But what happened? The system destroyed Jeremiah Balaka. And before it became popular, it was doing very well. All the oncologists of this world that you are hearing, they have done so well. They've made good money from herbal practice. But government should come down from the high horse and say, okay, you these illiterate people, let them call us whatever. We want to listen to you. And they will be shocked the volume of knowledge within that industry. But that will be very helpful to us and will be much more cheaper.
All right. Is it a lapse, a collective lapse, not just on government, but on we as a people? Because this is a tradition that many of us lived with. Even if we didn't live with it when we were younger, we heard about it. That was all we had. Going to the bush, rubbing the leaf, getting the juice out, and you are back on your feet. And yes, our ancestors also lived longer. And they survived, you know, healthy. Though you could talk about their lifestyles as against how we are living our lives now. But is it a lapse in the sense that these things are not exactly codified, and maybe the research or maybe passing it down generation to generation, all that was lacking, you know, the formal structure of trado medicine?
Today, there are private laboratories that you can take your sample to for testing.
Okay.
You can also go to NAFDAC to test the efficacy of your product. But the problem is, for NAFDAC, before you can set up a factory, you must have at least 4 rooms. Okay? 4 rooms. They will tell you what you are doing in each of the rooms, plus a cloakroom for your staff to change the addresses before they get in. These are fantastic things. But how many of us can afford 4 rooms? That's one. Number 2, the laboratories. The last time I tested my honey, I paid 65,000 naira. Okay, and you know honey comes in batches, the production batches. If another batch comes from the farm again, I have to go through the same process. You understand me? So it becomes a burden on us. It's an industry that you cannot fix your price arbitrarily or you charge people anyhow. They will resist. You must be reasonable in doing things. So let government come in, establish laboratories where we can take samples to. Okay? Apart from NAFDAC, and then let them come and say, okay, this is okay, it's not okay. And then if anybody is found wanting, let them go to jail if they deserve to go. Because we're talking of human lives now, not animals. And let me tell you, there is nothing I have given to anyone that I have not taken by myself. I use myself as a guinea pig. So I can tell you, if you tell me, oh, this thing is making you feel drowsy, I say, yes, it will, because I took it, I was also drowsy. So it's not, I mean, the wholesale condemnation of herbal medicine, or traditional medicine as you call it, is not right. Again, there must be a distinction between faith-based healing and herbal medicine. They're not the same thing. Okay? I don't do incantation. I don't do rituals. That's not my area of because the moment people hear herbalists, they say you know, but it's not the same thing. Those are faith-based. Unlike telling you this composition has vitamin C, vitamin K, and all of that. So if you take it, it will do ABC. Okay? My daughter had to be allowed in her school, because she's the boarding house, to bring in her anti-cough solution. Okay?
Which is
because she usually will have cough or irritation. So going to now buy all those drugs that will make her drowsy and sleepy for days wasn't it. But with a shot of that thing that I do for her, she's good to go. Last time she was going to the school, I wasn't in Lagos. She arranged it by herself, showing me the video and everything. I said, fine, we are good to go. That's the way it is. All right, there's no secret about it. I am ready to teach people who want to learn, provided government is involved.
But perhaps, can we find a level playing ground for the conventional medicine and traditional medicine to actually interact? when you treat your patient, do you ask them to, you know, go off conventional medicine, or it comes as a support?
You are a woman, right? Ask any man that you know that have had prostate enlargement before. They know how it feels. You know, the shortness of going to ease themselves, inability to sleep at night, the pain and the burning sensation. When those things are not there, they know that it is not there. If it's a bit I'm not that, I will open my phone, you see testimonies from people. Abi, I think it's in some God that is watching us, he will be laughing. Okay? And so many things like that. When we give you the solution for ulcer, you know how it feels when you have ulcer attack. But when you are healed, you are healed. You will live normal life. You will take pepper, nothing will happen to you. Again, the woman that comes with a big tummy containing mass of a fibroid, when it is gone, it is gone, it is melted, and she knows. Going to confirm is not a big deal. Some still go to do, okay? And then they're like, what did you take? You know what that does for us? Brings more clients. Because they are shocked. That, oh, is it possible? It is possible. Ordinarily, we do the same we do that people just eat with amala. It's medicinal, highly medicinal. I can go on and on.
We've spoken
Maybe
about...
we should do a national seminar on herbal medicine.
Okay.
Okay? Spearheaded by TVC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will bring local practitioners, I will bring foreign practitioners to come and speak on specific ailments, diseases, and then the cure, which border around food. Food and leaves. And you know why we are limited in our own practice? Leaves, fruits, they are reproduced annually, some biannually, right? So they can never be toxic.
Okay, and climate change is not a factor for you?
Unlike the roots that would have been there for ages. Okay. There are plants in our village that have been there before I was born. They are still standing. The same thing with the bark. So, I mean, the knowledge base has increased.
Okay.
I've been here at a time.
Mr. Ariyo, let me quickly ask, because we have less than 2 minutes now before we wrap up. I just wanted to know that if there is a lapse on the part of government in terms of regulation, how is this cadre of medicine regulating itself?
There are associations everywhere you go. Even if you want to join, if you want to submit your prayer at NAFDAC, they will ask you to join the local. I mean, it's a rule, and everybody agrees to it. The only thing government will do is to make sure it's a functional setup, right? And anybody found wanting is dealt with in a way that it will serve as deterrent to quacks and people who are not trained. I'll show you in a couple of months, years, it will be cleaned up and it will be a lot more acceptable. Most of the people you see that will tell you, they do. My neighbor used to laugh at me each time she saw me harvesting leaves and, just cleaning them and chewing them. He was calling me goat. She got into trouble and then she had to call me. And I said, you that was calling me goat. Today, that woman will not take anything without consulting me. Why? I simply say, madam, take this, wash them with salty water or apple cider vinegar in case, for
the bacteria.
And just blend and drink. Add this much quantity of water. And she came back like, hey, miracle. It's not a miracle. I'm working from the point of knowledge, not idea.
All right, Oladeinde Ariyo, herbal practitioner. Let's end it now.
I'm expecting the top view. I'm expecting the top view.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. To be honest, this is my first time, hearing you speak in this light. You know what I'm talking about.
You're my sister.
This is indeed revealing. Thank you. Thank you very much, and we hope to hear more from you.
Any day, anytime, I'm available. TVC is home.